Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we need to take forward 2 days here and do a little bit of mech warrior training and hopefully get another deployment done before this month tick. That would be absolutely great. 1 and 2. Fantastic. Okay, let's hop into the barracks then, and let's grab a gunnery point for a mech warrior, absolutely. For Arclight, of course, what does she do? Blackjack, Vulcan, Harasser. Okay. That's fine, I guess. We'll take controlled bursts here. Pretty sure PPCs don't have recoil. But, regardless, that minus 10% heat for the Blackjack, that wouldn't be bad. Okay, and then Blaze can grab a point of Tactics. Created can grab a point of Guts. And anybody else? Yes, actually, Kodiak. In the Chameleon. Definitely a Juggernaut point here.
Training confirmed, Commander.
Excellent.
I'm here. What can I do for you?
Lord Dacky actually has access to a top-level gunnery ability here. That's great. Of course, Lord Dacky... What has he been piloting lately? I don't even know. You know, I'm just going to give him Warlord. That's a decent default.
Training complete.
As far as Scrub goes, he's good to go.
Ready for orders.
Squib, what have you been piloting? You're in the Nidhogg? Actually, yeah. Escapist is pretty good for the Nidhogg here. And we can grab this point of Tactics, too. Excellent.
Training complete.
And then Tarbox, you're fine. And Woody, you can grab a point of Tactics.
Training confirmed, Commander.
Excellent. So let's just go ahead and deploy real quick here. Once again, we don't have our big boys. So I would like... to maybe run something like this recovery mission. It's very similar to the one we just ran. Solo duel? Ugh. I'll pass on that. Yeah, given these options, I think it has to be this recovery. So we'll negotiate this, and 315... I think we'll accept the salvage here. We're against Clan Burrock, so Clan Salvage is usually pretty good. And these mechs are all good to go. The Jaeger, however, is also good to go. And we are absolutely going to be bringing the Jaeger here. Wonderful. Now, who do we normally have pilot that? You know, Lord Dacky would do a good job there. That should be fine. So we can go ahead and deploy this. Yes, I'm aware that some of those mechs are underweight. That should be fine. The real question, of course, is, what will we be up against? We know we'll be up against at least 1 star of probably Clan Mechs versus Clan Burrock. There may be a 2nd star. If there is, that should be okay. Given the amount of pay that is on the table here, we're not expecting super heavy enemies. So that's good. Hopefully... Hopefully I'm correct on that one. Sometimes the game just decides screw you, and if that's the case, okay. I mean, I'm kind of being greedy right now, so I deserve it a little. But we need to retrieve the agent and escape. One of our covert operatives was captured by a Burrock patrol during a routine data drop and is currently being held at a secure facility on Ashcombe. We need a rapid response team to raid the facility and get our operative out safely. We'll pay a bonus if you're able to secure the data she was trying to deliver as well. It's being held at a separate facility. Shouldn't be any surprises here, Commander. The target is expecting a pickup, so she'll be aboard in a matter of moments. The data might be tougher, but it's your call if you want to go after it. So I'm fully expecting that this is not going to be according to plan, since Jerry has said that it will. We do have some allies. Okay. So... these facilities are very close together and basically connected. And we cannot get particularly close to them. Okay, that's pretty exciting. Maybe down here is our best bet. Like here, perhaps? And then we'd be able to make our way, like, up this. Like that. We'll see if we can make it. Of course, we have an enemy contact immediately. We expect that, of course. That's not a shocker.
Feel a tremor. Like
We've got some allies over here.
surface.
And
For action.
enemy turn. Oh, I must have not let it load long enough. My bad. I guess we're going to be fuchsia today.
Go, Commander.
Not a big deal.
Keep your eyes open and watch
That's an
your
Atlas
senses.
2. Okay. That's a Black Knight. That's a Marauder. This is pretty heavy. In that case, we're probably not going to be expecting
Standing by.
all that much in terms of reinforcements. We're going to reserve this. Okay. It's a thumper into that Black Knight. Oh, that's actually Inferno into that Black Knight, which is in Desert. That is not friendly for a Black Knight. Okay, they're missing everything on the Nidhogg. Perfect. That was a lot of potentially large pulse lasers, but he did not particularly overheat. Okay, that's a Shadowhawk. Not too bad, but that's our ally, which is kind of bad. Okay, let's see what's next. Walking through all that fire, parking in the fire. Why did he tell us to watch his heat? He gonna shut down? Nobody's not doing so well on heat.
Receiving you.
Okay, I'm still gonna reserve. That Atlas hasn't moved yet, and I want to see what it does.
Holding for the right opportunity.
Chiltron firing on the Black Knight. I like that a lot, actually. That did a lot of damage. Considering the range, anyway. Here's some Marauder.
Flanking.
Firing on the Nidhogg, missing everything. Not doing too bad on the heat. Once again, I'm going to reserve. That's the final reservation, though.
Holding.
Okay. The Atlas barely steps forward. Doesn't do much there, but it does get a PPC stray shot in there. But overall, this guy is looking like... I mean, he's going to soak up a lot of damage there, right? But he's looking like a target. If we don't have anything else to shoot at.
Yeah?
Like, for example, our Blackjack here can park in the water
Moving to the
and just light him up with some very fuchsia ERPPCs.
confirmed.
Very nice. Oh, our ally also has an Atlas 2. Okay, we'll take the LRM damage into that side arc. That's fine.
Waiting on you, Commander.
Lord Dacky can step forward over here. He does not need to be in the water. And we'll see if we get some hits.
Firing everything I've
Nope.
got.
That's fine. Not particularly concerned about that one.
Standing by.
Our J. Edgar, I would love to take up over this way. Now, I'm seeing that it looks like we can't navigate this with our vehicles. I'm guessing we can with mechs. So I'm going to take our vehicles around back over here.
Roger. Full speed.
And we'll take the vehicles up and see about heating these guys up. They all should run relatively hot.
I'm ready.
Our Archer, however, absolutely will come up here and light up this Atlas. Are we better off with Deadfire? Nah.
Got it, Commander.
Reasonable clustering there, but that was about the best we could hope for, all things considered. Yes, this Atlas is a damage sponge, but we don't have anything else for these mechs to shoot at right now. And looking at these hit odds, 12.9. We'll go for the Atlas with the Senshi as well. Okay, we failed everything there. I'm not super shocked.
No love on that strike.
There is another enemy out there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there would be. Okay, it's a good thing that missed. They've got one of those themselves. Somewhere up here. Yeah, that would be their 5th.
Ready. For
And he must be a big boy. We're going to move up with our Vulcan here. Continue hitting this Atlas in its weakened flank. 19 damage, sure. It's not the best, but it'll do. The Panther will also continue hitting it over here.
My way.
Now, technically, this is front arc, but that's okay.
Target confirmed.
We hit with the PPC, that's all that matters. What else?
What's up?
The Maxim. Now, the Maxim is also going to come around over here. Unfortunately, this is all flames on the way. We could park here, however,
You want fast? I can give you fast.
and make our way around next turn. Next up is the Nidhogg, and the Nidhogg is absolutely going to come off over this direction. I'd like to get a 4th evasive pip, if at all possible. It looks like that's not possible currently, so we will just position up here. We're not going to have a firing arc on the Atlas. That's okay. I'll just pop this guy with the PPC if we can.
Target confirmed.
We can't, but that's fine. We're getting into position here.
Let's do this.
Now, the guillotine is going to park in the water,
Yes, I'm there.
and we're going to see if we can poke this Atlas a little bit. And we can! Excellent. Yes, the Atlas is not going to take much damage, but that's completely fine. It will go down eventually. And we don't need to worry too much about everyone else that they have deployed, other than that guy with the Inferno artillery. That is definitely a concern for us. We're going to go ahead and park our harasser right off over here. Okay. Next up, phase 24. The guy we don't see, actually. They have 2 over there? That's a sorcerer. Okay. That was a lot of hits, that's for sure. So they've got a sorcerer here. We also see... there's their Long Tom. We've got a Kodiak and a Royal Rhino back there as well. There's no real way that we can get to that Long Tom. That's going to make things complicated.
Got it.
However, we absolutely can get the Vulcan in behind the Atlas here. That's something we'll do. We're not going to break through this armor with the Vulcan, but we can chunk him down a little. Excellent. I mean, we've got our own Long Tom, so there's that. Okay, the Black Knight moves up. It's still in that chemical fire. That's all it's got. So they've got 2 sorcerers. And they are really tearing into the Nidhogg right now. That's okay. I mean, the Nidhogg is expendable.
Waiting for orders.
The guillotine will make its way up over this way. I don't think I'm going to bother sprinting here.
On my
We'll
way.
just sit in this position here, and we will fire on the Atlas. Yeah, this is an overheat. I'm not going to fire this medium laser. Everything else, I absolutely am.
Acknowledge.
Okay, good. Our Steiner allies are going to fire on that Atlas themselves. That was some good damage there. Ammo explosion, it was contained, but even so. That Marauder moves up. Fires on the Nidhogg. They get another couple of hits there. Okay.
They've blown past my armor.
Technically, they are... Yeah, they are technically in the internal structure. That's fine.
I'm here.
Our Centurion is going to, at this point, I think, begin firing on their Marauder here.
Firing.
They've definitely got a good position here, and they're heavier than expected given the payment. That's for sure. But I'm not thinking that there's going to be a problem here, especially with that Atlas's arm already off. And the Atlas knocked down. That's pretty great, actually. That's really great. What else are they going to move here? Not a whole lot.
What
Okay.
do you need?
The Blackjack is going to stay put exactly where it's at. And we are going to look to... I mean, I don't think we can kill this Atlas, but we're going to soften him up a bit. Perfect. The other sorcerer? Going for the Centurion. Okay. That's fine. I don't care about that. They can do that all they want. I was worried that they would do that on the Nidhogg. So we're going to take the Nidhogg up over here. And we're going to look for as much ECM jamming as we can. The Nidhogg may well die from this. Its structure is exposed here. Now this is on the right-hand side, so we're somewhat safer here. And we're going to look to hit this Black Knight rear arc as hard as we can.
Got the angle. The shot.
Okay.
Reporting critical hit.
I was hoping for a one-shot there, I'll be honest. Our Steiner Atlas comes up, fires on their Atlas. Honestly, it doesn't get much done. Not much at all. But I guess that's okay. That was another good Long Tom miss. That's very useful for us, that those are missing.
Yes,
I don't know how many rounds of ammo those Long Tom carriers have. That would be a good piece of information to know.
Roger that.
Okay, that's a dead Atlas.
Do the math, Chief. One less target.
Indeed.
I hear
So
you.
the Atlas has, of course, fallen, and the Jaeger will begin
Got it.
moving
Max speed,
upwards.
No shooting.
We'll see when we can get there.
Waiting for orders.
The Panther will also make its way up over here.
Let's move.
Excellent.
What's up, boss?
The J. Edgar is going to make its way up over this way. I'm very interested in coming into the rear arc of this Marauder. Yes. Heat him up.
Firing full complement on the enemy.
We got one flamer in there. Not necessarily ideal, but it'll do. Okay. That's a Kodiak. Kodiak, Grendel, Royal Rhino.
Receiving you.
That's a big one, that's for sure. There's no doubt about that. We're going to come up here with the Maxim.
Hauling ass.
There we go.
Receiving you.
And our Chameleon will make its way up over here.
No shooting.
I am still hopeful that we can make our way through this. It'll take some time for this fire to go out, but it'll also take us some time to
Waiting
get
for
there.
orders.
Our Harasser will position right up over here. I like this position a little bit better.
Double time. Let's
Now
go.
this is rear arc on the Marauder, but that's a long ways away compared to this Black Knight, which is a lot closer. So we will heat up this Black Knight. Excellent. Okay. I'm still concerned about that Long Tom. There's no doubt about that. We're sending our Vulcan out over this way to try to flank.
Roger.
And ideally, catch up with it. Unfortunately, the Kodiak is there. Sorcerer just backed off and didn't fire. It's in that chemical fire, so I guess that explains a lot. The Panther will see about making its way up over here.
On my way. Double time.
There we go. We'll see what our allies do. I expect them to do very little from here on. I'd prefer that you didn't knock down that Black Knight, in all honesty. So all of those missing is completely fine. We'll see what the enemies decide to do here. Maybe they shoot down the Nidhogg. I hope they don't, but they could. Okay. If that's what they want to do.
Get him banged up pretty good.
An interesting choice, to be sure. The next move is the Grendel, just kind of wandering around over there, not doing anything in particular. Okay. So we're going to come over this way with the Nidhogg. not there, I guess. We're going to come over this way with the Nidhogg. And the idea here is that we are going to look to bomb the rear arc of the Marauder. Again, we could theoretically one-shot this with our Nidhogg. I doubt it'll happen, but it could. Yeah, that's good rear arc damage there. The Marksman, direct hit on the Long Tom. I do like that. The Marauder going for the Nidhogg, it did not manage to shut down, or shoot down the Nidhogg. How did its heat do in that fire? It's overheated, but it's doing okay. Sure.
Ready for orders.
At this point, the Jaeger is going to... there's this position here. I think that the Jaeger is going to come up over here and look to
On my way.
backstab the Sorcerer a bit. See if we can heat this guy up.
Roger.
A little bit. That's okay. The Chiltron moves up, fires on the Black Knight. Okay. Does a little bit of damage there. The Black Knight firing on the Nidhogg. Ooh, that was very close to shooting down the Nidhogg.
I'm taking internal damage.
Indeed you are. However, this Black Knight, pretty exposed right now. We're going to move up this way with the Harasser, though. Up to here.
Affirmative.
And we are going to look to heat up this Sorcerer.
Confirm.
Perfect. That's exactly what I was looking to do.
Commander?
The Archer will step forward.
Acknowledged.
And at this point, I think that we do go for the Black Knight. This isn't rear arc. Maybe we go for the Long Tom, actually. 11.7%. I wouldn't mind tickling this Long Tom a little.
Confirmed.
Like, I would very much like for this Long Tom to die. And that 20 damage may be the difference eventually. Emphasis on the eventually. Okay, we're going to come out of the water here, and we're trying to spread out a little bit here. The Royal Rhino is going to fire on the Nidhogg. That's probably the Nidhogg shot down. Yep. Given the amount of hits it took super early on, this is not surprising.
Ready for orders.
Okay, the Chameleon will move up to here.
Roger.
We have rear arc on the Marauder and the Black Knight. Hit odds are so much better on the Black Knight, though. We're going to go for the kill on this Black Knight.
Locked on. We're on.
And that is a dead Black Knight.
Tango down.
Fantastic. Yikes. Okay, that's down over here. That could have been worse,
Over the red line.
but it also could have been a whole lot better. Is the guillotine that's over the red line? Yeah, that's fine. We're just going to exit here. We can't fire here anyway, so we will sink heat. Okay, that Kodiak just moving around, not doing anything in particular. And we are going to fire on the Long Tom with our sniper artillery.
Target locked.
We actually hit the Royal Rhino. At least we hit something, I suppose. Firing on the Marauder. That's actually the rear arc there. I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all.
Yes, Commander.
Now our guillotine, it's gonna have a real hard time getting out of this fire.
On my way. Double time.
This round, anyway. So we'll just work on sprinting. And the Maxim... We could position the Maxim here, actually. Now, we may lose the Maxim to the Sorcerer here. Only 3 evasive pips. If he does that though, he will definitely overheat. We are going to fire standard rounds on the Marauder here. We're going for the kill. I don't know that we'll get it. We'll see.
Let's go.
Perfect.
Target eliminated.
There we go. Okay, so we've got this Sorcerer and this Sorcerer still to deal with from the original star here. We're going to move the Vulcan off over this way. I am concerned about its survivability.
Aye, aye.
So we're going to vigilance it. If it dies, it dies. But we're going to fire on the Long Tom from here. That's another 50 points of damage into the Long Tom. That's great. The marksman moves up. Fires on the Long Tom. Another direct hit. That's good. That's very, very good. Sorcerer, face planting into that building. But still firing on the Maxim and hitting a lot. We did expect that. It should be pretty heated up from that, though. It was in the fire. It's doing okay.
Orders?
That's fine. The archer will step forward over here.
I'm going.
20.8 on that sorcerer. And is this rear arc? This is actually rear arc. I think we take this.
Got the angle. Taking the shot.
About 25 damage into its rear arc. We'll take that. The Centurion is going to stay put exactly where it's at, and we are going to drop a sniper artillery right onto that Long Tom.
Affirmative.
Good hit. We managed to hit the Kodiak as well. That's what we like to see. Very little armor left on that guy.
Standing by.
This Chameleon is going to have to brave its way through the fire. That's okay. We'll position here. We did get some heat from the fire. And we will fire on this Sorcerer. It is side arc, but it's obstructed. And I'm not going to fire this ER medium. 1 damage. Okay. That's 1 more damage than it could have been. The Panther will absolutely follow suit. We will be ending in the fire, which is... I guess it's okay. What does this Sorcerer do? Does it fire here? It does, and it kills the Harasser, but it also kills itself. Because surely there's no way it doesn't shut down there. Wait, it didn't shut down from that? That's insane. At any rate, it still exposed its rear arc to us in a very awkward fashion. And that's okay. Everything in our vehicle lance is expendable. The Vulcan is too. This is fine.
Waiting on you, Commander.
So the Jaeger is going to slowly make its way up here. Chiltron moves up but doesn't do anything. The Blackjack is going to attempt to exit the fire, but it is going to fail. Naturally.
Good to go.
The Jaeger, at this point, is going to take up this position behind the Sorcerer. We're going to soften it up and hopefully get it to shut down here.
Sweet.
Only 1 hit on 87%. Oof. That's still 13 heat put into him. Our allied Atlas putting some missiles into the back of this Sorcerer. We accept that. The Kodiak firing on the Vulcan. It did manage to hit its autocannon, which I was definitely afraid of. Again, the Vulcan is completely expendable. He shut himself down to do that. And actually, he had an ammo explosion there and lost his torso. Okay. He actually took more damage from that salvo than we did. The Vulcan is pretty useless, so I don't care. Like, losing the Vulcan is no big deal. That's for sure. The Long Tom moves through the fire. Fascinating. Fascinating. He shot at the Vulcan, direct fire, and backstabbed his own Kodiak. Once again, doing more damage to that Kodiak than to our Vulcan. However, I didn't see the second Kodiak. So there's that.
I'm losing weapon systems.
He shut down too. Okay. They're really trying to nuke this Vulcan, and I don't know why. It's not that threatening.
Orders.
However, the Maxim is going to position right up here.
Heading out.
And we are going to hit this Sorcerer rear arc as hard as we can.
All weapons go.
That's a bunch of engine crits.
Scored a critical hit.
Sadly, no kill there.
Show 'em what you got.
Okay, next up, this sorcerer firing on the chameleon. I'm not shocked by this.
My armor is getting ripped off.
That's fine.
Commander.
Now, the Vulcan here, honestly, I might just eject it. The pilot is worth more to me than the mech. However, honestly, it punched above its weight with this Kodiak and distracting the Long Tom for a turn. I will call that a success on the Vulcan, and let's eject. Fantastic. So now we know all of what's back here. There's 2 Kodiaks, a Royal Rhino, a Long Tom, and a Grendel. The Sorcerer is going to melee attack our J. Edgar. Please do. Like, if we lose the J. Edgar here, that's a worth trade as long as the Maxim stays alive for another turn. He actually didn't fire. Chiltern moves up, does not fire. Marksman fires on the Long Tom again. Fairly ideal. The Shadow Hawk fires on the Sorcerer's side arc. We'll take that. We will absolutely take that. Which of these is a primary and which of these is a secondary? That's the primary, that's the secondary. Okay.
Yes, Commander.
That is fine. So we will move the Panther up over to, say, here for now. Excellent.
Receiving you.
Now the Jaeger survived this. So we're going to position the Jaeger behind the Sorcerer. And we're going to soften up his rear arc a bit and heat him up.
Firing all weapons.
Excellent. Some internal damage there, as well as some heat. Our friend the Atlas, firing on the Sorcerer's side arc, continuing to soften it up. We can't really deal with this Sorcerer yet until we get through this one, or until our big boys are in this area, and that's going to be a while yet. Little bit of damage on our Archer, but we're fine. We don't mind that.
Yes, Commander.
The Guillotine will definitely come forward over here as quick as it can. Sink off that heat. What little heat there is there. That's fine.
Standing by.
Our Blackjack, again, is going to come forward over here, sink off the heat that we gain from moving through the fire.
Ready for order.
And the Chameleon can actually get into rear arc over here, and we will do so.
Going
I'm also going to Vigilance this Chameleon, because I suspect it's going to take a beating from these Sorcerers. Can't fire that ER medium laser, although maybe we don't fire the small and fire the ER? Yeah, I think that's worthwhile. Hopefully we don't shut down, because if we do, that'll be very awkward. We did take out a double heat sink from the Sorcerer there. That is a big deal.
Target's taken a critical hit. I'm generating a lot of heat.
You're doing okay.
Orders.
The Archer will step up over here.
Move order received.
Is this rear arc? This is rear arc. Finish that Sorcerer.
Target lock on enemy 6.
There we go. One dead Sorcerer.
That's a kill.
Perfect.
I'm receiving.
Next up, the Centurion. We're going to continue dropping artillery on their Long Tom, although I think their Long Tom might be out of ammo at this point.
Copy that.
Okay, we missed.
That's a miss.
That's okay.
Waiting for orders.
Our Jaeger will continue to advance up this ridge.
Double time.
Perfect.
Battle mech power up detected.
Yeah, that's not surprising. That was that Kodiak that shut itself down. Now, the Maxim. I'm just going to position the Maxim... I think I'm going to position it here and hope that it doesn't both die, or that it doesn't die, and that the flames here die down. That's the hope behind this positioning of the Maxim.
Come on, people. Let's make it
We'll see if
happen.
it actually becomes a thing or not. The flames died, and the Sorcerer positioned itself very oddly. The Grendel didn't fire. Our Shadowhawk friend fires at the sorcerer, does a little bit of side arc damage there.
Standing by.
The chameleon does not have a firing solution here. So we'll just climb this hill a little bit and sink some heat. That's okay. The marksman is still shooting at the long tom. But the long tom doesn't seem to be shooting at the marksman.
Good to go.
I think that long tom is out of ammo.
Roger.
Which of course means there's absolutely no threat to us there, if that is indeed true. I do wish that we still had our Nidhogg,
Ready for orders.
but it's okay. This is our last round of Artemis 4. This is not rear arc. Maybe we fire it at this downed Kodiak. Roll up some head hits. See if we can get him to eject. We did get a few hits in there.
I'm out of long-range missiles.
Unfortunately, no ejection. The other Kodiak backs out of the fire. That's not a shock.
You.
Our guillotine will make its way up the ridge. Not quite there. Let's go here.
Roger that. No shooting, just running.
Okay. Allies, side arc attacking the sorcerer. That's okay. I don't mind that. They don't hit anything, which is a little sad. Another side arc attack, and this one is hitting quite a lot, actually. That's a large pulse laser destruction. That went pretty well. Good attack, good attack. Long Tom? Nope, that's not the Long Tom. The Centurion is fine. We don't mind those hits.
Ready for order.
So at this point, the J. Edgar is going to scope out some positions over here. All of these positions are in the target zone. Certainly not ideal. The only positions that we can be in rear arc are in that target zone. The question then becomes, can vehicles pick up the target? If they can,
Copy that.
then we aren't particularly happy. Because our vehicles are very easy to kill, right? So that means that the vehicle would have to disengage from combat. I don't think the Long Tom is a threat anymore.
Waiting for orders.
I think we're going to work on this Kodiak.
All right. Watch my heat.
That was a good hit. I like it.
Good to go.
Our Jaeger will climb up the ridge a bit. And position up over here. Fantastic.
Ready.
Now then. Moment of truth. We're going to find out. Can vehicles pick up the target zone? I'm guessing they can. And I'm guessing that this means that the Maxim is going to be a priority target. And then if the Sorcerer turns around and immediately kills the Maxim, we probably lose. Which means that we can't do this. We have to come in on this side arc. Can't risk it. Okay, we'll hit the side arc, but I'm not happy about it. That did do a good amount of damage there. We did get a head hit as well. The Kodiak is standing up. Okay. We'll see what else it does. It created this mess. Shadowhawk moves up, fires on the Sorcerer. Does some good internal damage there. Does take out a medium pulse laser and gets an engine crit. Sorcerer moves phase 20. That Grendel's just running around back there for right now. We do move our J. Edgar first. I'm going to try to make the J. Edgar more of a target than the Maxim here, because I would rather lose the J. Edgar than the Maxim.
Giving them everything I've got.
So we're going to stay put. We're going to hit this guy again here. Give him a little heat. And we have no evasive pips on the J. Edgar. Maybe our allies kill the Long Tom. I guess that's okay. And I think they might have hit the Kodiak there. But now the Sorcerer moves. This was what we wanted. Yep. One of these vehicles was going to die based on that positioning, and I would rather it be the J. Edgar than the Maxim. Excellent.
Orders?
At this point, the Chameleon... I would love to get the Chameleon in here. Like, I would like to get this guy out of the target zone, is what I really, really want here. Unfortunately,
Confirm.
that's not really an option.
Aye, aye.
The Blackjack will move up.
Let's move.
Aye,
The
aye.
Panther will also make its way up over here.
Copy that.
We need to get our big boys to
Yes,
bear,
Commander.
though. The Centurion is pretty much just going to stay put. I would love to keep hitting this Kodiak. Our heat is getting up there. Maybe we should just take a round off.
Roger. Sent an heat.
Okay, the Shiltron moves up. It does fire on that Kodiak. That's a decent amount of damage in there, including some internal. The Archer is going to need to move up where it can bring its Deadfires to grasp, and we may want to switch one of those Deadfires out in reality. I suspect we want to switch one of those for Artemis. We've got 2 tons of Deadfire and 2 tons of Artemis. I feel like we've got too much Deadfire and not enough Artemis.
Commander?
But for now, our Jaeger will make its way up over here, and we're going to try to get a firing line going up here. Okay, that's fine. Hit that marksman all you want. I don't mind that one. Kodiak moves up. It's a little bit spooky, but not too bad.
Good to go.
The Guillotine will continue to make its way over. Okay. Who else?
Waiting
Maxim.
for orders.
Maybe we send the Maxim down this way? How many evasive pips can we get? We can get 6. And be in side arc of the Royal Rhino. The Maxim will likely die here. So let's hold off on that. And let's just pull the Maxim back a little bit here.
Roger that.
2 options here. 1, he comes out and attacks. 2, he does nothing. I'm okay with either of those. The Panther is going to move over towards this firing line, because we absolutely do want a firing line over here.
Understood. Moving fast.
Excellent. The Sorcerer. Huh. That's quite a position to take. And by that I mean he's killed himself.
That was a heavy hit, Commander.
Sure. But at what cost to the Sorcerer? He's in some substantial danger right now. Shadowhawk moves up, fires on the Sorcerer, does nothing. That's fine. That is absolutely fine. We are substantially outweighed, by the way, here. I just want to point that out. We're going to move our Chameleon in over here. And not really fire anything. The Marksman fires at that Kodiak. That is an ideal target for him to hit. I like that targeting a lot.
Good to go.
Our Jaeger is absolutely in position here. We're going to step forward
On my way.
towards our firing line. And we are going to light this Sorcerer up. And now he's dead.
Enemy down.
That was actually better than I anticipated.
Waiting for
Our
orders.
Guillotine is going to head up over this way. The Guillotine I'm probably not going to put on this firing line. I'm probably going to send the Guillotine down. That said, we can go down over here.
I'm receiving you.
So that's probably something we should do. We're going to sprint up with the Archer.
Full speed.
Okay, the Shiltron moves up, doesn't do anything. Kodiak runs around in the fire a bit. Sensor locks the Marksman. Okay. It's cool, I guess.
Standing by.
The Blackjack will go ahead and close in towards our firing line. Excellent. Next up. Who's moving? Not sure. Our allied Atlas, not doing anything. Royal Rhino, running around a bit, firing on the marksman. Sure. Please do. That thing's done a lot of damage already.
Waiting for orders.
Our Centurion is now in a position to fire, and I absolutely want to fire on this Grendel.
Engaging target.
Okay, we hit the Royal Rhino and the Grendel. That's what we were going for. Good old-fashioned splash damage. The Maxim, at this point, we could move over to here, or to here, or we could move here and have a dual rear arc with potential stray shot. No 6th evasive pip, so we might lose the Maxim to the withering fire of the dual Kodiaks, but we'll see. That Royal Rhino has 200 rear arc armor versus the Grendel's teeny tiny amount of rear arc armor. We hit the Grendel.
All weapons.
Not the best, but we definitely shredded its armor a bit. The Maxim's going to take some fire here. There's no doubt about that. And it may die. Yeah, the Grendel's not a fan. I can't say I blame it. And we'll see what our ally does. Probably a whole lot of nothing. Putting a couple missiles into the Grendel, I guess. That's something.
I'm here.
The Centurion, at this point, is going to go back to hitting this Kodiak.
Roger that. Target confirmed.
Kaboom. Fantastic.
I'm here.
Our Chameleon is going to make its way up over this way. Now, this is a dangerous position to take, so we are going to go ahead and Vigilance. We may still die here, and that's okay. So we could hit the rear arc of the Royal Rhino, or we could hit the wounded Kodiak in its strong side. Its strong side isn't particularly strong.
Locking on target.
There we go. Good armor reduction. The Blackjack will move up over here. We absolutely need to get our big boys closed into this firing line. Our allied Atlas, chilling back there. Chiltron, chilling. Marksman, attacking the Royal Rhino. Unfortunately, hitting our Maxim there. That is not great, to be sure. We're going to park the Panther here. This is a place where the Panther is likely to take damage. It's okay if we lose the Panther. We're going to go for the Grendel here as the softer target. Okay.
Commander?
Our Archer will attempt to sprint in as best it can, which isn't particularly great. The Kodiak attacking the Chameleon, as expected. Pretty hefty hit there, but it's okay-ish. And he shut himself down. Okay.
Standing by.
Our Guillotine will close in. Next round, we can bring the Guillotine to bear. So that's great. We can't quite do it yet. Phase 17, the Royal Rhino. On the Chameleon. Once again, this is not a shock.
I'm getting my ass kicked.
Our lights and mediums really are not in a good position to be able to do what we need them to do in these, which is why we are replacing them with big boys. The Jaeger will close in here. And we're going to start pulling back this Chameleon. If it survives here, I'd be shocked if it does. The Kodiak should kill it here. Yeah, as expected. Completely as expected there. Kodiak shut himself down again, though. Interesting. So the Chameleon might be gone for good. We don't actually care if it is, though. I'm going to come up behind the Kodiak here and give him a little bit of a backstab. Yes, it's flames on the way. Light him up. I would have loved a kill there. That could have easily killed.
Critical hit.
It didn't, and the Maxim probably will die here, but that's okay. Grendel moves in through the fire. That's fine. Once again, these guys, they are not really intended for fighting this. Like, it's not going to go super well for them. The weight differential is just too good. But that, of course, is why we are repairing our big guys. The Royal Rhino is going to take... I don't like that thumper shot. They should have fired at the Grendel. That would have been way better for us. The Shadowhawk moves up, attacks the Kodiak a bit, does a little damage. Sure.
I'm here.
Our Blackjack is still a long ways away from where we need it to be. We're going to close in here. I mean, we're going to win this. We just need to get our guys up here. It's fine. And I don't care if we lose some of our smaller boys, because it's irrelevant to us, honestly. I am going to fire the bolt-ons at the Royal Rhino here, I think. Actually, I'm going to hold off on that.
Engage.
Excellent. Decent side arc hits there.
Standing by.
And our archer is going to continue to close in.
Confirmed.
Remember, we have a full lance of heavies and assaults that are going to be finishing up within the month.
Commander.
So, we're completely fine. The Centurion is going to work on probably this Kodiak at this point.
Confirmed.
Kaboom. Our allies not being very useful.
Battle mech power up detected.
Yep. Kodiak powers up. Royal Rhino goes for the Maxim, probably kills it here. The Maxim is actually alive.
I'm under heavy fire.
I'm shocked.
Good to go.
We're going to go for the kill on the Kodiak now.
Targeting Alpha threat.
That's a dead Kodiak. That's a worth trade. I will take that any day of the week. A Kodiak for a Maxim? Obviously. Okay. That's fine. I do wish there was slightly less, you know, fire everywhere. That would be nice. Yep. I'm not shocked that the Maxim dies there, but it took the Kodiak with it. The good Kodiak. Not the, you know, mostly damaged from killing itself Kodiak. We lost all of the vehicles, but that's fully expected. That is, at this point, part of the job for the vehicles. We can continue firing on the Royal Rhino here. Doing 10 damage. Okay. Not great, but not shabby either. The marksman moves up, fires on the Grendel. That is a just fine target to go for. Doing internal damage on the Kodiak as well. Lord Daki is going to move up in the Jaeger.
Double time.
Excellent. Next round, we'll be able to bring the Jaeger to bear. Allied Atlas moves up, but does nothing, as expected. Next round, we'll be able to bring the Blackjack to bear as well. And once our big lance gets there, there's very, very little that they can do to stop us. They are just way too damaged.
Double time.
Our mediums did their job, honestly. They bought us the time that we needed. Yeah, they got shredded, but we expect that at this point. That Kodiak shut himself down again.
I'm receiving you.
Drop another thumper on him.
Taking the shot.
Boom. Engine destruction.
Target's down.
Now the Kodiak just died to artillery fire. All they've got left is the Royal Rhino and the Grendel. Yeah, the Royal Rhino can do a lot to the Panther. But is it enough? No, it's not enough.
Oh, they don't like me at all.
Well, of course not.
Commander.
Why would you think they would like you? That's a very, very silly mistake to make. Yeah, this is flames on the way, but we're going to step up with the guillotine, and we're going to vigilance it. The Grendel does have exposed structure in its front arc. We can't fire the ERPPC, but we'll fire everything else, including the rockets.
Taking the shot.
Okay, ammo explosion contained there.
Action on that one.
That's okay.
Each gauge is red
That
light.
Grendel is basically dead at this point. Wait, the guillotine moves again? Instantly.
Coordinates received.
Okay. That's fine. Finish the Grendel.
Firing.
Shouldn't have vigilanced it then. But that's one dead Grendel.
Target neutralized.
All that's left now is the Royal Rhino.
Commander.
The Panther will go ahead and fire on him. We'll take this overheat. For 70 damage, yeah, that should be fine. Marksman moves up. Does not fire. That's good. Shadowhawk firing on the Royal Rhino with some missiles. Only doing 5 damage. That's fine. I do not mind. We'll position the Archer here where we can actually utilize our Deadfires.
Locking in all weapons.
That's a lot of damage to that Royal Rhino. Perfect. The Atlas, not going to do anything at all.
Standing by.
Our Centurion is out of sniper artillery. I'm honestly just going to brace it. The Royal Rhino moves now, probably does some damage to the guillotine. Oh, to the Archer. It's fine. Structure exposure there. That was some good clustering.
Armor breach. Internal
But
damage.
nothing really going wrong there. Nothing Yang can't fix.
I'm here.
The Blackjack will position here.
On my way.
And we will light up this Royal Rhino.
Copy that.
Excellent. This guy does have a lot of armor. There's no doubt about
I'm
that.
generating a lot of heat.
Good to
We
go.
should probably at some point soon think about replacing our vehicle lance and changing our vehicle lance doctrine, but now is not the time for that. That's a bunch more damage into that Royal Rhino, but it's still not enough. The Royal Rhino moves in phase 18. He has basically no armor left, though. And we will go ahead and fire on him again here. Can't fire the PPC, sadly. Another little bit of damage there.
Orders.
And the Archer will finish him off. I don't think he survives this. Nope, he definitely doesn't. Fantastic. Okay, time to go pick up the objectives. I don't mind losing a couple of the mediums and the vehicles. It's not a big deal.
Let's do this.
So the guillotine is going to start making its way through the fire, down to the secondary objective. Fantastic.
Standing by.
And I suppose the Blackjack could go after this, but its heat is pretty up there.
Full speed.
The Atlas, we don't care what the Atlas does, honestly,
I'm
at this
here.
point. Same with the Centurion. The Centurion isn't going to be useful. Just finish that up. We'll exit combat after this round.
Orders.
The Jaeger can come off over this way, I guess. That's fine. There, now we've exited combat. Perfect. Yeah, we don't care what you guys are doing. You're fine. Centurion,
All
we
right,
don't care.
I'm ready to
The
go.
guillotine will go ahead and grab this. The Archer will come up here. Everybody else will brace.
The secondary asset is in hand and ready for
Fantastic. And now the Archer will come on over this direction.
Moving to position.
Everyone else will brace. We don't care. These guys can run around all they want. It's not relevant. As usual, Steiner just interested in wasting our time. Okay. Let's get out of here.
The asset has been secured and is ready for retrieval.
That was definitely heavier than I was anticipating. There's no doubt about that. But we'll see what we get in terms of salvage, and we'll see if that was worthwhile. We may end up losing the Chameleon. It may not be reparable. It's not a big deal if it's not. I don't mind that much. Okay. So, of course, the Vulcan is going to require repairs. I'm not sure how much we care. They want these Kodiak parts, and they're offering us Streak SRM-6s and LRM ammo. I refuse. I don't care about our Steiner rep. Our Steiner rep is already garbage. Get out of here. Okay, so that means that we get access to... Those were all in one stack, but now they're not. Sad. We already have one Kodiak part. We could get ourselves 3 Kodiak parts here and then roulette some of these others. Didn't mind that mobile long tom either. Let's just confirm that for now. We did get 2 mobile long tom parts. Not bad. A Rhino part. 2 Atlas 2 parts. Nothing huge out of that. But it's okay. We'll get rid of this AC5. We'll keep the medium pulse laser. The standard PPC we'll get rid of. The Slick Suite, that's not too bad. Generic structure and generic AC5 ammo. We'll keep the AC5 ammo. That wasn't great in terms of salvage this time. But next time we run into some of these chassis, that will be quite good. Okay. In terms of pay, I doubt we really came that close to breaking even. We might have broken even, actually, but not all that much in terms of profit for sure, especially if the Chameleon can be repaired. I'm actually kind of hoping that it can't, in all honesty. Now, we're not going to prioritize repairing the Vulcan or the Chameleon, for sure. Those are not going to be high priority right now while we are currently fully occupied with the big boys. We will get them queued up, if they still exist, but we'll see. Yeah, the Chameleon was destroyed. That's fine. Yeah, go ahead and do it, Yang, and then we will evaluate that Vulcan afterwards. But we want to make sure that our big boys get repaired so that we don't have this situation going on anymore. So we definitely want to prioritize work on the Imp, Dragon Slayer, Sorcerer, Guillotine, Archer, and Jaeger. Those are the ones we want to prioritize. Yes, it will take us a while. We did make a small profit there. Okay, we'll call that good. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I'll see you all next time, where we won't miss the Chameleon.